lucky us.
Seriously, guys, get on those internets. Let your friends know on Facebook, Twitter, and Reddit, and anything else that you happen to use. Let them know that this is going on. WCS Season 2 Finals, the biggest tournament of the year to date. And God, has it been the best so far.
It has been absolutely fantastic. We've seen some amazing games. We've seen the #1 ranked player in the world, Innovation, being knocked out in the first round here in the round of 16. When we've seen some upsets. I don't think too many people expected Jaedong and Bomber to be in the finals. Let's just say that, together as a package.
Absolutely not. I think very few people have believed this indeed. In fact, Zerg was expected not to even duo. Only 2 Zergs entered this tournament. Scarlet made it all the way to the round 8. Here Jaedong is in the finals, possibly going to win, but first, he has to win 4 games out of the next 6.
Imagine if he did it just in a row, just won it 4-1. That would be one way to win, wouldn't it?
Hey, I guess that would be a way to assert your dominance, being the tyrant himself.
All right, Autosis, coming into map number 2 now. I have a feeling here that considering game number 1 was decided on very small mistakes, which are very easily adjusted, on Jaedong's side of things, I don't think he's going to change anything. And likewise from Bomber, who's going to be like, all right, I'm comfortable with how things went in game number 1.
Well, it certainly looks like Bomber's going to do exactly the same thing. As far as Jaedong goes, I think he might play maybe a bit more economical. You know, Bomber had that very wide choke to his natural expansion, Newkirk Precinct. The choke here isn't quite as bad. There's no way that getting quick speed is going to be able to punish Bomber. Jaedong tested him. Bomber passed the test. So this game, I think Jaedong's going to actually look a lot better when that push comes out.
Yeah, absolutely. He hasn't taken the extractor. He hasn't done anything along those lines. But look at this over on this side. Bomber kind of playing a little bit more greedy, because if we just remember to game number 1, he took a single refinery. So the small adjustments coming from both sides here. Bomber, without taking a refinery to start to bring in gas, gets a much, much earlier 3rd command center.
You know what, it's funny because in the first game, they were both macro builds with things built in to punish an over-greedy opponent. Here, they've both gone for a much more macro-heavy play. Both skipping those things, a little bit more risky, but overall, these 2 builds are gonna match up against each other pretty well.
So we should, the way that things are looking, see this develop into another kind of long game.
I think so, I really do, and that's good. I want to see these 2 macroed out once again, but hold on, we have these Zerglings going in the main base. SCV's having to be pulled to hold them back, but these are not going to do much more than scout for Jaedong.
But he, as soon as he saw the 3rd command center, I'm not too sure if we can read into it deep enough, but he threw down extractors immediately. As soon as the Zerglings saw the 3rd command center. Could this be a sign of potential aggression here?
I think it has to be, Apollo. I think it has to be. What else would that be for? Well, is he going to make a hatchery here? It looks like he is.
Yeah, I mean,
so that's interesting. The only thing that can mean then is getting quick speed.
Yeah, getting quick speed, depending on the style he wants to play, whether it's Roach Hydra, he could decide to upgrade off double evolution chambers a little bit earlier if he was going to rely on Roaches more so than Zerglings, but that's not a style we do see from Jaedong very often here. He could throw down a Roach Warren and a Bailey Nest at the same time, but it is going to be double evolution chamber. Yeah. And if he was to research speed at this very time, then it would pull away from the fact that as these evolution chambers finish, he won't have the right gas to research 1-1. Are we going to see Jaedong mix things up? Or is he just going to skip gas for the speed to get earlier Zergling upgrades and then get speed later on?
Well, I think he's looking at this and he studied what Bomber did, because Bomber did this very same build before in this tournament against Scarlet. So he's looking at this and saying, okay, I know what you're doing. I'm going to get better upgrades. We'll play the macro game. You're a little bit ahead economy-wise, but I'll get ahead upgrade-wise, and things will be basically even again.
All right, just looking at the build of Bomber here, who's playing very safe with a barracks wall-off on his natural. Interesting, though, he's only thrown down a single engineering bay, not double, which is very normal to what we usually see here.
Yeah, this is definitely a change from before. I'm really wondering what it has to be for attack. Does this, could he be going for something, a very old build, something like massive Marines and siege tanks with attack upgrades?
Well, he's got the factory coming down here. The attack upgrades coming in for the bio, and the second engineering bay is started here. So just a little bit of a difference, a bit of an adjustment there, but it's set up quite well here, and with the barracks coming down nice and early here for Bomber, he's going to have quite a few Marines coming out quite fast.
Oh, he certainly is.
And they all got reactors on them too.
Well, that is Bomber for you. When he lands at 3rd Command Center, expect him to be making 15 Marines at a time non-stop. But Jaedong, we know that this guy knows how to macro. This is one of the fastest Zergs in the entire world. And as his lair finishes up and he begins that Baneling speed, I'm sure that's going to be top on his list, gets the Spire going, I do expect to see some macro hatches starting to go up.
I think Bomber playing overly safe, adding on the extra barracks to protect his natural, has slowed him down a little bit to where he potentially could have been, because with the engineering base being a little bit later on in this game, look at the upgrade disparity between the both of them. We have 1-1 just kind of on its way for Bomber, but 1-1's completing for Jaedong, and the layer is done. He's got more than enough gas in the bank to throw down 2-2 immediately here.
And you know that he's going to do that exactly. Baneling speed starting right after that Spire as well. This is looking really nice for Jaedong. Look at that beautiful production tab. He's getting absolutely everything he needs to go deeper in the game, and bam, there goes the 4th base. And I would be very surprised if we don't see that macro hatch going up very soon.
And with Jaedong getting Baneling speed here, he's adjusted everything from game number 1. There was no early 16 Zerglings and Zergling speed, just full focus on economy, and even getting the Baneling speed now coming in. But are you not afraid of Bomber's upgrades being a little bit slower in this game? Sure, he's got a lot of barracks, he's got a lot of production and decent economy, but with 2-2 so rapid here from Jaedong, who cut out Zergling speed, that's going to mean that he's going to be taking a lot more cost-efficient fights.
That's right. You know, he's going to be ahead on upgrades for much of the game, possibly all of it. We're going to have to see about that, though, because, you know, he plays a little bit different from Scarlet. We saw from Scarlet she stays on that layer tech, and Bomber's very used to playing against that now since he played her 5 times last night. But Jaedong previously went for a quicker hive in the last game. Now, will he go for that to keep those upgrades moving forward, or is he just going to really commit to Ling Bane Mute on layer tech?
Well, as Baneling speed's about to finish here on this left-hand side, Jaedong's going to attempt to do something to Bomber's 3rd base. It's not going to work here, as well as a drop coming in. The wall-off is beautiful. Well, actually, I say the wall is beautiful. He opens a gap here. The SCVs, though, are pulled off in a timely manner, so this does not work either for Jaedong.
Hiding the Banelings behind. In the meantime, this medevac drop being cleaned up perfectly by Jaedong. And not the most effective harassment, but it's actually all right. Kills a geyser, a few SCVs, some mules, stops mining time. It's a decent little attack.
It's decent, especially considering Bomber threw resources into something his own, and that didn't work, and Jaedong kind of did, so that's not bad for Jaedong there.
Well, Jaedong's starting to move on the map. Once again, take a look at this creep spread, Apollo. Absolute madness in every direction it's coming out. This is going to be hard for Bomber to deal with.
Jaedong set up very nicely here with a lot of Banelings, great upgrades, Mutalists here as well. Surely Bomber, though, without disturbing Jaedong at all, he's going to be in a rough situation when he finally decides to move out here, unless he finds, you know, a great engagement, finds some way to force a mistake from Jaedong. So far, though, Jaedong seems to be ruling this game, and Bomber could be in a bit of trouble when he does decide to move out, considering the upgrade timing that you'd usually want to move out with them. They're very far behind.
You know, Bomber is definitely setting up for his never-ending parade push. Just a constant attack with perfect macro behind it, spending every mineral and staying maxed out. Now, how well can he do that? He's starting to move out, scanning that creep, but Jaedong has a lot of units in the middle of the map.
Yeah, both of these players have a lot of units here. We're going to have to see if Jaedong can flank this well. He's going to come from the right-hand side and the left-hand side all at the same time. He's going to filter through one way, though, and there's a lot of tanks and widow mines. We'll see how this can work for Jaedong. His Banelings are clumped up. I don't think he's getting the best trade-offs here.
Well, he's killing the Marines on the right-hand side and not losing the mutas, so it's not a travesty that we're watching here. But Bomber pushing forward hasn't lost a considerable amount of his army.
And well, Jaedong does return back to meet up with 42 new Zerglings to attempt another attack here as Bomber sets himself up to continue to push forward. Now his +2 armor's on its way. Is Jaedong going to be able to use these Mutalists to pick off a couple of tanks here?
He may be able to, coming in from the side, targeting those siege tanks on Amelia. A lot of Widow Mines, but the Widow Mines even get taken out there. The Overseers eating the Widow Mine shots. A nice engagement by Jaedong.
Nice engagement from Jaedong, and Bomber has to go through different layers of Jaedong's army, and here comes another one. There's no tanks this time. There's a couple of Widow Mines that do get buried in here. The Banelings do not get the best hits, and Jaedong must retreat once again. but more and more Zerglings. There's a lot of Queen Lava injects going on across the map. There's a lot of lava for Jaedong to mess around with, but he must not let Bomber break far enough to get to this base at the north.
I don't think Bomber's going to be able to quite make it in. Well, some of the Mutalisks coming down, but Baneling's rolling in. He will clean it up. And you know what, Apollo? These are nice moves by Jaedong. He's keeping that Widowmine count so low that his Lings and Banelings can actually close against these Marines.
And Bomber, without a fourth command center here, is really focusing on just pushing forward, really hammering up this left-hand side. If he can, well, basically Bomber's goal is to break Jaedong and get towards that fourth base. Jaedong's opposite side of things, keep on defending, because Mutalisk and Mutalisk with the upgrades coming in will become more and more efficient, because then he's not losing them. He's killing units but not losing them. So that kind of seems the way that this game is going to play on for the next few minutes.
You know, one of the hardest things about fighting against Widowmine Marine Medevac is doing counterattacks at the same time. It looks like he's going for that again, though. Ooh. A lot of Banelings rolling down towards that third base. There's a possibility for quite a bit of damage to be done here. Going through those depots, a quick response by Bomber, running the SCVs away, though.
Yeah, Jaedong didn't really do anything with those. Does borrow them, so he's going to have to force a scan out, I suppose, but not the best of use of his Banelings there, considering he needs everything he can get to be able to stop Bomber, who is going to continue to launch an assault, still without a fourth command center here. Very focused on 3 bases. One different difficulty level here that's going to come in from Bomber is when these 3/3 upgrades complete. That's gonna really hurt Jaedong in the fight.
It's gonna hurt him terribly badly. It's gonna be rough, but at least Jaedong, his hive is about to finish, so he can start his 3/3, but he will definitely be down in upgrades for quite a while.
Oh, what a spread of units here from Bomber. Widowmines and Marines absolutely everywhere. He's got control of the Xel'Naga Tower. Jaedong's gonna have to come in to fight this, but I think Bomber's spread too well. Can Jaedong do this here?
This is a beautiful spread. Bomber trying to come in for the kill, but hold on. Jaedong pushing his Zerglings through. Let's see how these mine connections actually end up going, and it looks like Jaedong not barely gonna get through. Too many Marines.
I mean, they trade off so equally between them, but right now Jaedong still needs Banelings. Bomber's getting closer and closer to the goal, which is breaking this fourth base down, and it looks like he's gonna do it. Bomber's gonna be able to break this fourth base down. Jaedong morphing Banelings. If this fourth base goes down, this is amazing news for Bomber.
Oh, Bomber gonna go ahead and kill that hatchery. A great move by Bomber, his never-ending push, getting what it set out to do, the fourth base.
And now with +3 attack finishing and +3 armor about to finish as well, everything is crumbling here from Jaedong. He had one goal, was to protect that fourth base, and he failed. He failed at this time. But if he can trade off a lot of his units cost efficiently and re-establish a new base, maybe things can still work for Jaedong. But right now, Bomber's leading this game quite convincingly, I'd say.
He certainly is, and Jaedong going around hitting the resupply line here. He's going to be able to take these units out very easily. And look at this, he's leaving burrowed Banelings behind so that if Bomber comes back, maybe he can get those huge detonations.
Bomber's not coming back though, Autosis. He's marching forward here. He's retreated from his third base, and surely this means that Jaedong has to go back to defend.
I think he's going to have to. The drone's getting out, but 2 macro hatches, 3 queens already falling in the meantime. Oh, he does kill that command center. A big move by Jaedong, but I think he's getting the worst end of this trade.
Yeah, maybe somehow if he can get all these Banelings and cost efficiently trade against the Marines on the other side of the map. Jaedong saved his drones here, so if he can get a mining base up and running, right now there are 20 Banelings on the map. A couple of them are burrowed.
Well, Bomber looks like he may end up going home with the army to rejoin up, or no, he's turning back around. I guess he wants to keep attacking with this, but Jaedong, he has to start crushing some of these armies or he's just going to lose.
Yeah, Jaedong is really in trouble here. 130 supply to a 98. It'd take a miracle here for Jaedong to be able to win this game. That would put him down 0-2 in this best of 7.
Well, right now the Muta's trying to hold off this reinforcement line. Bomber coming up both sides at once when this army joins forces.
Oh, there's 4 Banelings there slightly to the right, but a scan goes down from Bomber. Excellent pickup there.
Wow. Really well done there by Bomber. This is the only way that Jaedong really has a chance to come back. We'll see if he can do it. Bomber pushing forward, starting to spread. A lot of Widow Mines in there.
And Bomber, what a beautiful spread. Jaedong's going to have to fight here. There's a couple of board Banelings. They get picked up anyway. And Bomber is almost just confirming that this map is his. Jaedong must fight here. He cannot just keep running away. The spread is getting stronger and stronger for Bomber. He's even cutting off the reinforcements here. Jaedong is forced into a fight. He has to fight, otherwise he'll lose all his bases. But look at Jaedong, where is he going? What is he doing?
I think he's accepted that fight is something he can't win. Probably 0% to win that and 1% to do a base trade or something, but I don't think it's even that, Apollo. Bomber is looking way too strong right now.
Bomber's playing so good here.
Look at that. Oh, that was some big explosions by the Widow Mines. And I think we're going to have to see a GG coming up pretty soon here from Jaedong.
Yeah, the only thing that's working in Jaedong's favor are those board bangers, but they are not going to pick up everything here. They get a good chunk of units, but still, even